Well, hello, this is Linda McCullough, the Outreach Coordinator for Ensight's Skills Center, interviewing Penn Street and her dog Beethoven. So Penn is an educator, advocate, and outdoor activity guide. She is a leader in the low vision and blindness field and in the Lions Club. Penn has worked in several low vision programs doing outreach, leading outdoor activities, and fundraising. She currently serves as Director of Development and Outreach at the Audio Information Network of Colorado. So Penn, I had wanted to talk to you and ask your thoughts on adapting to vision loss, because so many people who are recently diagnosed feel scared and like they will have to give up many things they love to do. So what would you say to someone feeling frightened or overwhelmed because they've been diagnosed with an eye disorder?
That those are totally normal feelings, because it is scary. You're being forced to transition into a life that you may never thought you were going to be part of. It's a big change. There's a lot of changes. So those feelings, you should feel them because they're true. However, it's not the end of the world. Yes, your world is going to change, but it's not the end. With the right resources, services, support, you can still live your best life. It's just going to be different.
What has helped you the most in adapting to vision loss and living your life?
All the things I just mentioned. There's definitely days where I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to face it because it is hard. But I've been very lucky in my life that I've had amazing people. Even when I was little, I had great teachers. I had friends. I just always really tried to focus on what I could still do instead of what I was losing. Because if you focus on what you're losing, it's so overwhelming that you can get caught up in that. But if you can focus on, okay, I can still do this. I'm going to focus on this and figure out a way I can do this. And that definitely helped. But it's just so important to reach out. And I know that some places that's easier than other places, because sometimes you can ask your eye doctor, where do I turn now? And they honestly may not know, which seems weird in 2021 that's true, but it is true. There's a lot of rural communities, sometimes even in the city. Eye doctors they're so busy, their staff, they don't have time to research what's out there and where you turn. But start asking, ask your friends, ask your family to start researching. If you still have enough vision, you can get on a computer, do your own research, find out what's out there, and just start, small steps. You don't want to get overwhelmed because it's a huge life change. And so you don't want to do too much too fast, or it'll just become exhausting and overwhelming.
And what would you recommend to those experiencing some intense emotions, maybe grief or fear?
Again, it's just, you're not alone, because that's probably one of the first things you feel. I know I did, even as a kid. I'm the only one that's ever gone through this. I'm never going to go through this, but you're not. Vision loss is everywhere. You probably know a lot of people who are dealing with vision loss, but they just don't say it out loud. A lot of people have never met somebody who's, I'm quotes, blind, because a lot of people who have low vision don't use a cane or a guide dog, but they're still struggling with their vision. So just start talking to people, and getting the support. Talking. Don't isolate yourself, because that's a scary place to be. I've been there. I'm sure most people have been there. And if you need to be in that space for a little while, that's okay, but don't stay in it. Reach out, and even if it's, talking to your best friend, just sharing, it's the first step.
And how does learning some of the low vision skills and how to use some of the technological devices affect one's life with low vision?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, I'm 53 years old. So, I know that I have friends that are a lot older, that are old enough to even be my grandparents that I'm really good friends with that have lost their vision. And it doesn't matter what age you are, whatever you can do. So something as simple as learning how to listen to books audibly, because that right there is a transition. If you've always read books, you haven't been a big listener of books, that's actually a big transition. So start, listening to a magazine, or even narrow it down from there. Listen to an article in Reader's Digest. Take just little baby steps. But there is so much out there compared to even 10 years ago, or even 5 years ago. Like the smartphones are a huge asset to somebody who's blind or low vision. If you can tackle a smartphone and what it can do for you, it will completely change your life, because it's everything from time, weather, of course, making phone calls, texting. There's even apps on there, there's an app for that. But that you can use an app for currency, colors. There's even barcode reader apps. There's so much out there. But sometimes technology can be something as simple as like connecting with the Colorado Talking Book Library and getting their I don't know what it's called, their player, their digital player, and it's free. It doesn't cost you anything, and that it is technology. It's a new way of being able to listen to information. Or if you have a smart speaker, start learning how to use a smart speaker. So you can do smaller things, but there's so much out there now, and a lot of it is pretty minimal cost or free. It's silly not to reach out to technology, or even simple things like, raised dots on your microwave or your washing machine, labeling things, labeling your clothes, things like that. Start small and build up to it. Or if you're super tech savvy and super innovative, jump right into, some of the speech on your phone or on the computer. But it's so essential to start learning as soon as you are able how to adjust to what, those missing things in your life, like, reading, which was huge for me.
So Penn, when I asked if I could interview you about tips on adapting to vision loss, you said that people can do more than adapt, they can thrive.
Oh.
What did you mean by that statement?
Well, and it's not just vision loss. Whenever there's anything in our lives that force us to pivot what we thought maybe our future was going to be, we can adapt to it. We can learn the skills, we can accept it, or at least be okay with those changes. But you can go way further than that. If you can get to a place that you can get back to work, get back into your community, do the things that you love to do. I have a good friend who quilts, and when she started losing her vision and she wasn't able to quilt anymore, that was her connection to who she was on this planet. She was the quilting lady. And so if she couldn't quilt, who was she going to be? But with training, with resources, with services, she's still able to quilt, and she has extremely low vision. So she feels that she's thriving as a quilt maker now, more so than when she could see, because now it's all tactile. She said that her stitches are better now than they were when she could see, because she's focusing more on them. Or like with me, I love being in the outdoors, and when I lost this last huge chunk of vision, that was the thing that I thought I was going to have to give up. And that's what really spiraled me into my depression, is that I wouldn't be able to hike anymore. I wouldn't be able to run anymore and go camping with my girlfriends. But I met Eric Wymer, and he's the first blind man to summit Mount Everest. And I just felt like, if he can summit Mount Everest, I can definitely figure out a way that I can go hike the trails that I like to hike. And they're no Everest, but I ended up being able to summit a 14er, which is a huge accomplishment for me. So to me, that's thriving. Thriving is moving beyond just the adapting to your vision loss. It's getting to a point where you're actually happy and you are doing the things that you thought you were going to have to give up. And a lot of times you're going to do them better than you did with vision. So that to me is that transition from adapting to thriving.
Thank you. And any other words of wisdom you'd like to share with people?
It's just, you're not alone. There's a lot of us out here, and by you reaching out and you joining a support group, or you going through a training like an Insight Skill Center, you are actually helping other people, because the minute that you intersect with somebody else who's losing their vision, trust me, they're going to feel the way you do. And if you have a group together, you become a team, and you can share the struggles, and you can also share the triumphs, because it's such a neat thing when one person can tell another person, hey, I tried this and it worked, and the other person tries it and it works for them too. It's such a beautiful connection. So just don't give up. It's okay to be scared. Don't let people tell you, to just get over it and, buckle up, or all those other sayings. It's okay. It is scary. But then find a way to connect with resources and services so that you can thrive.
Thank you so much, Penn. I appreciate it.
Sure.